Hello, Spirit School Collective. Thank you for being here for another week. Here is your technique of the week for you to try this week in your practice sessions or next time you find yourself in an opportunity to stretch yourself and practice new things coming into your world, or maybe reintroducing something that you used to do that you may have forgotten about because you've ventured along your journey for long enough now. And that is simply having a pen and paper handy. Seems simple, right? This was not something I did in my first few years of development. It wasn't something I introduced until I started working professionally. And there's a lot of different reasons why I do this. And there's a lot of different teachings within this one technique. So having a pen and paper handy in your session will help for so many different reasons. One, the first thing that I get my client to do as I tune into their energy is I have them spell me their first and last name. So while they are speaking and spelling the letters, I am capturing the spelling of their name for a few reasons. The most important is their voice carries an energy. So as their words are hitting my heart, this is where spirit communication is. I am picking up information through the energy of their voice. They are also relaxing into the session because they're doing something. They don't know why they're doing it. So they're not in their skeptical mind and they're not contracted in any way. They're simply spelling their name. And the third reason is I'm not the best at names. And unfortunately, even if I know you really well, it may take me a minute to jog my memory on the name and the face. And so I also like to capture the name of the client. So as I'm referring to them throughout the session, I can refer back to their name. Just a simple human technique as well. Now, when people are spelling me their name, and I feel like a lot of intuitives will resonate with this, there's a lot of information that is coming in at once. So also having a pen and paper handy after I write their name, I take a moment to just jot down a few words that were coming to me. So it might be female, grandmother, heart, gardening, just words are kind of coming at me. So I'm just capturing them. And this also gives me a time to get through any remaining nerves that there may be. It's also a signifier for my own human, my own spirit, like, okay, I'm tuning in now. So this is actually a practice that I have that signifies to the spirit world that I'm ready to work as well. Now, I very well may put down the pen and paper after that, or I very well may keep it with me and continue to doodle or write different impressions that come through. Now, this won't be the same for every single session. Sometimes I will actually hold the piece of paper and I will just talk to the person and the channeling will start, and then I'll put down the piece of paper because I don't actually need it. But when I do use the piece of paper and the pen during a reading, what can happen is I will look down at my paper and there'll be a word there and I don't consciously remember writing it. This is actually how I've gotten most of the names that I have gotten, which hasn't been astronomically high over the course of my career. But when I have looked down, I've seen the name and I may say the name and it usually ends up being pretty accurate. So this is also a form of clairaudience. So for those of you who want to increase your clairaudience, this is another way to practice and exercise that. Now, if you are finding yourself in your head or lost in your thoughts, or, the experience, your mind is kind of taking you away, this is a great way to give that analytical piece of your mind something to do, something to chew on so that you can just focus on being your channel. So this is a whole bunch of different reasons why adding a technique of introducing pen and paper into your sessions may be beneficial. Really early on my professional career, one thing I also remember doing is the page before the client page, I would actually write out my prayer. And this was a way for me to, have something to do that wasn't overthinking before I went into my session. It was about setting intentions. It was about, connecting in with the most divine essence of what we are doing. So one side would be a prayer before they showed up, and then the next side would be the notes that come through for them. So here's a couple techniques in one this week. I hope you can give it a go. If you're somebody who already uses this technique in your practice, please feel free to include your teachings around this, how you feel it supports you in your practice, and anything, any perspectives I may not have mentioned in this micro learning experience. So let me know how it goes in your practice sessions or the next time you try it, and I'll be back next week with another technique.